They did the impossible. It's a veggie burger that actually tastes good. Hey everyone, it's Jeff, and here we go, starting another week of practicing English today on this Monday morning. That's for you anyway. For me, it's Sunday, and it's my favorite part of the week when I get to turn on all my devices, connect all my cables, press record, and talk to all of you for a little bit. I hope you have as much fun listening as I have making the program. This is episode 184, and that means you can find all the episode resources online at plainenglish.com/184, courtesy of JR, the producer. I never thought I would say it. I never thought I would say that a veggie burger is actually good, but I am here to tell you the Impossible Burger is a good burger, and it's 100% meat-free. On today's episode, we'll talk about the new meatless craze, and I'll share the results of my veggie burger taste test. The phrase we'll talk about today is "in keeping with," and since it's Monday, I have a quote for you. To most carnivores, the word veggie burger provokes a range of reactions, none of them very good. We generally think of a dry, flavorless patty that crumbles apart in your mouth, or even between the bread, or even on the grill. In fact, if you can get a traditional veggie burger in your mouth, you might not be able to tell the difference between the patty and the bun. Well, throw all that out, because now two new companies have reinvented the whole idea of a veggie burger. The market leaders are Beyond Meat, which recently debuted on the stock market, and Impossible Foods, whose showcase product is the Impossible Burger. The Impossible Burger is starkly different from the typical veggie burger usually made from soy and a variety of other vegetables. It's the result of years of research and thousands of tests as the company tried to use any and all kinds of plant products to reproduce the flavor and sensation of eating a beef burger. The Impossible Burger patties are made from soy and potato protein, coconut and sunflower oil, flavor, and binder. More on that in a minute. In place of animal protein, the patty contains potato and soy protein. Animal fat is what gives a grilled beef patty its tantalizing sizzle, but the Impossible Burger substitutes animal fat with sunflower and coconut oils, which still allow the patties to sizzle up when grilled or pan-fried. The beefy flavor is courtesy of heme, an iron-rich compound found in every living organism. Methylcellulose holds all the ingredients together. This fiber-rich chemical compound extracted from cellulose helps to bind the burger together. Without it, the ingredients would just fall apart. The result is a burger that, when cooked well, has a slightly pink middle, grill marks on the outside, and a beefy texture. With a few caveats, I can confirm that the Impossible Burger does mimic the sensation of eating a beef burger. Impossible fever has swept the nation. The burger is available at restaurants and bars around the United States, with each restaurant lending its own take on the Impossible Patty. It's on the menu in 9,000 restaurants, and the company's revenue has increased 50% in just the last year. Katy Perry dressed up as an Impossible Burger for a gala fundraiser at New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art. Then, it struck gold, a partnership with Burger King. In fact, the nation's third biggest burger chain took down a huge chunk of the supply of Impossible Burgers. I originally wanted to write this episode in early May. And after visiting several restaurants in 3 states, that is not an exaggeration, I gave up. I couldn't find one. A delicious, Instagrammable, celebrity-endorsed burger that's not meat. Is there anything not to like? Well, whether or not it's healthy is still up for debate. In terms of calories, there isn't much of a difference between a classic beef burger and an Impossible Burger patty. The caloric range is about 240 to 300 calories. The vegan burger contains healthier fats, comparably less sodium and cholesterol, and has more fiber than a beef patty. However, real burgers, I'll still call them real burgers if they're made from meat, they have more protein. The biggest objection to the Impossible Burger is the feats of chemical engineering necessary to make them. Remember that thing called methylcellulose, the binder, and all of the extracts and substitutes used to make the burger? That's not exactly in keeping with the movement toward more natural, less processed foods. The Impossible Burger is not for everyone. First, ironically, many vegetarians don't like it. Why? It tastes too much like meat. A lot of vegetarians gave up meat because they don't like the sensation or the idea of eating an animal's flesh. A product that mimics that very thing is not their idea of gourmet. Second, if you really love good beef burgers, the Impossible Burger is not going to measure up to your favorite. But it's a good stand-in if you're looking for a good meal and not an exact replica of your favorite burger. Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat either are producing or have plans to produce meatless breakfast sausage, Italian meatballs, turkey, even fish. So are we ready for the results of my taste test? I went with a friend to the Old Irving Brewery on Montrose Avenue, close to my house here in Chicago, and got an Impossible Burger. It had lettuce, tomato, and onion on it, the classic toppings, but it also had vegan cheese and a vegan bun. I forgot to order it with a regular cheese and a regular bun, unfortunately. The patty was surprisingly thick. I was expecting something the thickness of a McDonald's burger, but it was much thicker than that. And the flavor and consistency is pretty much what I remembered from back in March when I had my first Impossible Burger. Here's how I would describe it. It's like a beef burger in every way, except it doesn't have that delicious beef taste. I know that sounds weird, but that is what I mean. It looked right. It felt right. It had grill marks. The texture was right. It was pinkish on the inside. And it didn't taste like anything else. It's not like I was tasting vegetables. It tasted a little like beef, but its taste was more neutral, almost like a lower quality burger, like something that might have been frozen and just thrown on the grill. The vegan cheese was a big mistake. That really took away from the experience. The vegan cheese tasted awful. I almost want to go back and get another one, only without cheese and on a regular bun. Maybe someday soon. The second item on the taste test is the Beyond Meat Burger, which I bought in the grocery store and cooked myself on my grill. Since I prepared this myself, I had a much more complete experience with it. This one was more burnt orange in color. It cooked up well on the grill, I must say. It got some good grill marks on it. As for the taste, it was different from the Impossible Burger. I didn't put gross cheese, air quotes, on it, so there's that. It had its own flavor. I put ketchup, lettuce, tomato, and onions on top, and my verdict is it wasn't a bad sandwich. It just wasn't a burger, at least to me. To be fair, I wasn't really expecting either of these to taste like a real beef burger. If I had to choose one, I would say the Impossible Burger. Now, also to be fair, while most veggie burgers taste like cardboard, there is one type that I genuinely like, and that is the black bean burger. If I could choose between an Impossible Burger and a traditional black bean veggie burger, I think I'd go with the latter. Time to say hi to a few listeners. I had never heard of the Calabria region of Italy before, and then I heard from 2 listeners from this same part of southern Italy in the span of about 3 days. They would be Antonio and Domenico. So grazie to Antonio and Domenico for saying hi from beautiful southern Italy. Here's a quick promotion for the email list. JR sends out episode emails every Monday and Thursday with additional vocabulary words and links to articles about the main topic. If you'd like to get those, sign up at plainenglish.com/mail. Today's expression is in keeping with. It's a strange little phrase that means nothing like the sum of the parts. See if you can figure it out from the context. All the chemicals and extracts and unnatural processes are not in keeping with the movement toward simpler, more natural foods. Some people think the absence of meat makes the Impossible Burger healthy, but they're ignoring the heavily processed ingredients. It might be in keeping with the idea to cut down on meat, but it's not in keeping with the movement to make our foods simpler. By now, you may have guessed that in keeping with means agreeing with or sharing important qualities with something. The whole idea of healthy food is a moving target. Different definitions of healthy come and go, but one popular idea is that you should eat foods that haven't been heavily processed and that come from ethical farms near your house. In keeping with that idea, many restaurants are offering less processed food, and they will even tell you the farms that supply their ingredients. Even if meatless burgers are not in keeping with the trends to eat less processed foods, they are in keeping with caring for the environment. That's because, according to the founder of Impossible Foods, they require 75% less water and 87% less greenhouse gas emissions than typical burgers. New safety technology in cars is in keeping with our desire to make driving safer. Renting clothes is in keeping with the new trend towards subscriptions and rentals and away from ownership. The way I've been using in keeping with so far is like in agreement with a movement or a set of values. You can also use it to say it shares qualities with something. I think the furniture and decorations in my house are in keeping with my personality. The furnishings share qualities with my personality. They're generally not too dramatic, no flashy colors, no bold designs, but they're well thought out, functional, comfortable, and a little stylish, not too much. If it were too stylish, it would not be in keeping with the rest of my life. Starting a podcast and a website is in keeping with my interests in reading, writing, and learning about the world. Today's quote of the week is from Paul McCartney. If slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be a vegetarian. A slaughterhouse is where they kill animals to prepare them for the food supply. So singer Paul McCartney is saying, if they had glass walls, in other words, if you could see what happens inside, then everyone would be a vegetarian. That's probably not too far off the mark. I remember one time at Thanksgiving, an American politician was being interviewed on television, and in the background of the interview, it was at a farm. A turkey was being slaughtered at a poultry farm, and everyone was horrified that a turkey was being slaughtered right there on television. And I remember thinking, how do these people think a turkey ends up on their table at Thanksgiving? But nevertheless, we don't want to see it. So the quote of the week from Paul McCartney, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be a vegetarian. On that note, we will wrap things up for today. I'm curious to know if any of you have had an Impossible Burger before, or if you've tried any of the other plausible meatless products. The comments section on the website is open, and I love hearing from listeners in the comments. So visit plainenglish.com/184 and let me know what you think about these new meatless alternatives. Hey, remember I told you JR and I are hard at work on a super secret project that I can't announce? Well, your wait is almost over. We'll be releasing a special episode this week to talk about our project and what the future holds for your favorite English language podcast. So check your favorite podcast app for that special episode later this week. Until then, and I really can't wait to tell you, I have to wait a few more days. Until then, have a great week.